What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Rideshare Hub. My name is Greg Wave. As usual, if you guys like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We've got a ton more content coming for you guys soon. But what I've got for you today is I'm going to show you what running both Uber and Lyft at the same time on a part-time schedule could look like. I do this more often than not because I think full-time driving is a little bit bad on your personal vehicle. But also, I run a business on the side, and so part-time allows me to do both things so I can supplement my income, but I can devote a lot of time to my business as well. So let's get started. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show screenshots from my earnings from both Uber and Lyft, and I'll break it down a little bit with you guys and just show you how easily you could be making a decent little side income on your own, okay? All right, so I'm going to throw the Uber screenshot up there now. So as you guys can see, I made about $353. I did that in about 25 hours. I made about $38 in tips. So not too bad, you know, for 25 hours. If I were running just Uber and that's what I did, you know, I'd be pretty happy with almost $400. You know, that's good money. And then let's pull up Lyft real quick as well. So on Lyft, I did 201. As you can see, there's online time and booking time. Since I ran both apps at the same time, I'm going to go with the booking time because a lot of times, you know, if you're adding the 18 hours plus 25, that's not really accurate to what the hours were. I didn't actually work that much, but the booking time is more accurate from running both apps, what your time is. And then I made about $21 in tips. So about 34 hours. So that's a little heavy for a part-time week. You know, I mean, most people consider 40 hours, like they don't want to work any more than that. So I'm a little bit different. You know, I'll do 34 hours on this and then, you know, 30 hours on my business, but it just depends on what you're looking for from Uber and Lyft and kind of, you know, what you're pursuing in life and whatever else. So we made about $555. We did that in about 34 hours. And then one really big thing here too is, you know, we made about $60 in tips. So I've actually had weeks where I've worked more hours and made less in tips. So that wasn't a bad, you know, to get another $60 out of your, you know, out of your $550 isn't too bad at all. One thing that's really important to keep in mind with this is that, as you guys can see from the Uber screenshot, I did a majority of my hours just on that Friday. I really like Fridays. If I'm gonna go part-time, Friday is almost always my biggest day. The reason being is that you usually get a lot of rush and surging on Uber from like 3 to like 7 p.m. when people are getting out of work. And then for the next 2 hours, you're going to give really consistent rides for people going to, you know, the restaurants, bars, whatever. And then obviously the rest of the night, you know, it's just a bunch of young people going out to the bars, the clubs, and you generally are going to get some really great surge pricing, really from like 3 p.m. till like 2 in the morning on Uber. A lot of times it won't be like the craziest, but it'll be, you know, a $2-3 surge relatively consistently. And the thing is all of those little numbers add up so much quicker than you think. You know, you can very easily give 10 to 15 rides that are all like $2 to $3 surges, you know, and that's going to be an extra 20 to $50 depending on how high it is. So what does this really look like? You know, it's just under 20 an hour. So, you know, again, for me to work part-time and be able to make an extra $500 a week, you know, at about anywhere from $18 to $22 an hour, that's about everything I need. For me, that covers, you know, most of my bills personally. I don't really have too much to cover. It's really just, you know, rent, car, phone, and whatever else I use to do this. But still, you know, I don't think too many people are pushing too much more than that unless they've got families or whatever else. So again, just on a side, you know, just to put in this kind of time, you know, if you're looking at more like 20 to 25 hours, I mean, you're probably, you know, $100 or $200 less than that, depending on what days you work, you know. So again, 20 hours could be bringing in something like $350 a week, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. So I believe so firmly that this is the best way to drive for Uber and Lyft. I think that once you cross like the 40 hours a week threshold, I feel like you're just putting so many miles on your car that you're going to cause a lot of long-term problems. But I think if you can stay in that kind of 20 to 30 hour range and make at least a few $100 a week, you're going to have a great supplemental income, and you're not going to destroy your car like so fast. I had a last car that running full time, I just totally burned it out. It had so many miles on it. It needed a ton of repairs, and that's what Uber can possibly do to you guys. So what I really did, this was a really spastic week for me. Obviously Friday I had pretty much all day, but a lot of these days I only had about 4 or 5 hours. So I was just picking windows that worked and trying to go for it. A lot of those days I was going from like 10 a.m. to like 2 p.m. So like not the best hours, but it was just all I could do that day. And a lot of times it was only for an extra, $20 to $80, depending on how many hours went into the day. But obviously I made sure I got out there Friday and killed it. And then the weekend I got some good hours in there too. And that easily got me to the 350 mark. Now what's really powerful is I've had weekends where I just did 10 hours on Friday, 10 hours on Saturday, and maybe I'll do a video for that soon too, and I made over $400. So if you are really trying to put in quality hours part-time, sacrifice your weekend. Just go for, like I said, 10 on Friday, 10 on Saturday. Start at 3 p.m. and just go straight through for 10 to 12 hours. So 20 to 24 hours, very part-time. You can very easily make at the least $300. There's just not a chance you're not going to make more than that unless you're in a really small city. So again, if you're putting in, a good 20 to 30 hours a week, you're going to have a pretty respectable side income to be utilizing. And the best part is like I was saying earlier, if you're running that just on the weekends, it's going to be just even better. So I like to always think that if I can at least do 20 to 24 hours a week, and I can do it on Friday and Saturday, I know that I'm going to have a really good chunk of money coming in. The other reason you're really going to want to do the weekends part-time, if you are doing it part-time, is that a lot of times like the highest earning nights you'll ever have on Uber are going to be on weekends. It's going to be concerts, events. It's just the combination of the surge rides on Uber plus just people tipping like crazy. It ends up being just really good amounts. So I'm going to tell you guys about a few weekends I've had. I had one weekend where I worked a Friday night and made $600. This was less than a year ago. There was a some artist was performing here in Phoenix, and they were just surging like crazy all night. So $600 night, obviously that was pretty incredible. And the very next night I made another $200. So just in that weekend I made $800. And you never know when you're going to get weekends like that, but odds are if you're working a lot of holidays, you're going to have days like that. St. Patrick's Day is a really big one. So again, like if you're trying to figure out how to plan your schedule to be a part-time Uber driver or Lyft driver to supplement your income, try and get those weekends off. Try and get those weekends to be your Uber and Lyft time, because just those 2 days can bring in $500 a week. But every now and then you're going to have a crazy like $1,000 weekend. I've done it a few times. It's not too often, but I've had a few times where Friday and Saturday I made like $350 a piece, and then I made about $300 on Sunday. But that was usually like a really unique Labor Day weekend or something like that. But you're going to have a lot of weekends where just working Friday and Saturday, or just working Saturday and Sunday, preferably Friday and Saturday though, you can make $400 to $600. And then a lot of times way more than that, obviously from the story I told earlier. So the best way to do this is always going to be to prioritize the weekends, so if you can only do 20 hours a week, you want to do 10 on Friday, 10 on Saturday. If you can only do 8, I would just do 8 hours on Friday, or maybe 8 hours like late Saturday night. So there's so many ways you can work it inside of that. You just got to find out what's best for you, though. So keep that in mind, guys. Great part-time schedule is just going to be crushing Friday and Saturday, 10 hours a piece. You're going to easily hit that 3 to 450 mark. I've had times where I've hit even crazier numbers. So it's definitely worth it to look into those days. But also just part-time in general, even if you can just get one weekend day and then a few weekdays, you're going to look pretty good. So I hope you guys got something out of this video. I hope maybe it gave you some clarity on how much you should or shouldn't be working on Uber and Lyft. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, give it a thumbs up. We got more stuff coming for you. If you're a rideshare driver, you got to be on this content. It's helped me a lot. I know it can help you guys. I hope you guys kill it out there this week, and I will see you guys soon.